Okay, let's start. Hello, afternoon. Um, yeah, so today we'll be doing this. So we'll be completing Unit 3 today. So that means machine problem next week. And I think I'll give you 2 weeks for machine problem 3 because as previous no experience, though I think you need more time for this one. I don't want you to cram machine problem 3 because a lot of you underestimated MP2 and crammed MP2 and well late outputs. So anyway, so for unit 3 of volt, turn on volume. So we'll add visual effects or particle effects as well as sound effects no, to our already existing game before. So it would look something like this. So if I bump into an obstacle, it explodes. Now, right. So if I jump, there's also a sound effect for jump. So if you bump into an obstacle, it explodes. Yeah, so that's the only things that we're going to add to our game. Uh, so let's close this and then okay, that's not the scripts. Okay, here. So we'll go back to what we did sa previous lecture. So our current state here current state here right now is it looks like this. Well, there's no sound, and well, we've kind of completed the whole game loop where oh wow okay, where if you touch the obstacle, you reset the game no, and it kind of dies. Okay, so we have obstacle spawn, and then yeah, something like this. Okay, so we'll add effects, no? Visual effects, and as well as sound effects. I just want to point out that the visual effects, particle effects that we'll be using, this is not, I can't teach you everything. These are just very basic things. So particle effects, because particle effects is a whole lot of like topic siya if we like delve deeper into it, and there are certainly a lot more tutorials sa YouTube or sa internet wherever, right, on how to make like sort of complex na particle effects. But what we'll do here is just well what we were provided sa Unity create with code, and well we'll just make use of it, and then basic lang na how to play SFX, how to customize SFX, and then SFX, no, particle effects, and sound effects as well. Okay. Anyway, um, so if you downloaded and imported the package, we have particles here. It's a course library. So we have a dirt splatter here and an explosion smoke na particle effects. So we could drag some of these, no, or we could drag either of these, and then we'll see what it looks like. Okay. So I'll drag this one, FX explosion smoke effect, into the hierarchy, and then it looks like that. It explodes upon when you place it into the scene. Okay. So if you could also see the scene view, there is particles here na options. So you could either play, restart, stop the particle effects, right? So there is also playback speed, playback time, etc. So if you play, there, it looks like that. If you restart, so it does the particle effects thing again. So currently, it just looks like a puff of gray cubes. Tapos it rises from the ground to the air, and then it disappears, right? Okay, so we'll just look at the here. We'll just look at the properties for now, and then we'll also like look at how we could use this later on. Okay. Anyway, so this effect now, the particle explosion smoke. I will be using this, or we'll be using this for the particle effects that if we bump into an obstacle and then there's like an explosion thing, right? Or you could use this with other things as well. But that's how we'll use its death effect later on. Okay. So for the death effect, gray smoke is okay, but I want it to have a bit more impact. I want it to be sort of like an explosion where it goes from like bright red to like smoke siya na black and things like that. So we could look at the inspector and we'll look at the properties here. Is it visible ba siya? Okay. Anyway, so we have things here. We have duration. Duration is simply the duration of the particle effects. So meaning after 0.5 seconds, it's already done, right? So if you restart it, it goes again. Um, Looping here just tells us if it is going to be looping. So if I click on looping and if I click play, then it will play every iteration, every 0.5 it plays, it plays, it plays. Okay. But this one, we don't really want this to loop since once we collide to an object, explosion lang siya and then that's it, right? Uh, we'll ignore some of these for now. You could study it on your own. What I want to do here is my start color siya. Diba I said something like I want this to be a little red or I want this to be red when it explodes. So we can change the color no, of the mesh, the explosions here. So I've set it to red. So if I play now, then it looks reddish, right? Reddish siya in color. So if I play again, oops, restart, there, red na siya, right? So we'll build around from there. Okay. We also have here gravity source, which is the 3D physics. This is well, we're in a 3D environment, so 3D physics siya, right? And we have here gravity modifier. Now it's we have here negative 0.5. 'Cause if you see, no, if we play, it rises upward. So ang gravity multiplier niya we want to go up, so negative gravity siya, essentially. Oops. We will stop for now. Okay. Going back. We also have a rigid body for this one, so emitter, but let's just brush over those things for now. What I want to look at here is ang emissions. The emissions here is the property where it's like the number of particles being emitted from this particle na effects. So in this case, if we look at it, there are like five. Rate over time niya is 5. But that's not really what's happening here. What's happening here, because there's so much particles that is being spawned upon play, we have here the bursts. So it bursts zero point 0.1 na time, and then there are 100 particles that are being sort of instantiated during that time. It is bursting for one cycle because, well, once lang man siya, right? And then, yeah, interval niya and everything. So you could pump this up. So for example, 200 ta ang count, and then it would look like there's more. If there is less, say 10, ang burst here, there, less particles man siya, right? There, 10 particles lang siya, ang burst. Okay? So we'll set this at 100. That look like good enough naman siya, 100. If you want to pump this up, 1,000 particles, there's more particles. So essentially, sa burst time siya naka-indicate. Rate over time is different. So this is the rate of particles being emitted over time. So in this case, naka 5 siya. So 5 particles will be emitted. I think this is per second, if I'm not wrong. But this one is different. Say for example, let's remove this, right? This is different. So there. It just creates 5 particles, right? Wala siya burst. Okay. So if you put like 100 of these, this is different. So that's how initial burst. It's not created once. It's like created there. Though, how do you describe it? The linear siya? Something like that. So let's maybe we'll keep it at 100, and then some burst. We'll just um, copy what we had earlier. One cycle, and then probability also 1. So if we play it again, it looks like there. Okay, it's just back to emissions. Anyway, shape. So the shape here, the property is it clear? Medyo blurred siya, no? shape. The shape property here is not the shape of the explosion, or it's not the shape of the particles. This is the shape of the emitter or the explosion. Okay. Currently, ang shape niya is box. So if we click or if we zoom in sa scene view, it looks like this. So may box na blue, light blue box. That is the shape of the emitter. So meaning, the explosions sort of explode in a box na pattern, right? You can change this, say for example, sphere, and it looks like that, very small. And then you could also like increase the radius of this sphere, etc. So if we play it as a sphere, yeah, it looks sort of the same, right? Well, because small container and then similar lang siya. If you want it to be different, really, we could make it like a cone, like this. So if cone siya, the explosions will be going to this direction, right? To the left, like so. So if we restart, explosions, yeah, goes to the left. So we can change this. I want the explosions to like go upwards. So we could change the properties of this cone. Say, so my position, rotation, scale man siya, right? So we can change this here. Say we want to rotate it sa x-axis. I want to make it face upwards. So maybe around -90. Yeah, looking like that. And then sa angle, this is the angle of the cone. So currently that is at the 25-degree angle. So you can reduce this as well. So maybe I'll go with like 15. Oh, that's 150. 15. And then radius is, well, the radius of the cone. So you could make this smaller or bigger. This is the radius of the base. Okay, so if naka-zero siya, it's a very very small base. If you make it bigger, then bigger man ang base of the cone. I'll make it at 0.001, then it explodes upwards. Radius, thickness, arc, etc. Arc is for, I think, so sa arc, I'm not really sure how this works, no, the arc, but I think that is also for the um, property of the cone. Anyway, oops, sorry. Where is it? Okay. So we want it like this. Naka-cone siya. I'm kind of happy with the shape of that. If we play, restart or play, then it just emits upward. No? Wala siya ga-emit at the sides. Well, a bit of it emits the sides, but mainly it's upward. I want our smoke to be somehow like that, cone shaped siya, but you can change it as you see fit. Okay. Uh, may option man they actually emit from base, so it starts from the base of the cone, etc. Okay. Anyway, so that's for shape. We have other properties here. We have velocity over time. So velocity over time is the velocity of the particles over the time of the animation or the particle effects. In this case, speed modifier times 2 lang siya. So this doesn't really have like a change of velocity over time. No? Kung ano siya, starting velocity, that is just the same. We have limit velocity. I think this is also not really used too much. What we want to look at next is this one. Color over lifetime. Okay, so if we click on color here, may gradient siya. And we can change this gradient to provide sort of like a tint sa particles. Okay? So what I want to do for this particle is I want it to start very bright and then it fades into like dark and semi-transparent na siya. So we have two sets of knobs here. One's sa top and oops, sorry. One sa top and one sa bottom. So sa bottom, these are the knobs for the color. So in this case, if you want to change the color of the tint, you click on this specific knob sa dalom, right, at the bottom, and then you can change the color. So I want it to be very bright at the very start, so I'll tint it with white, right? Okay. And then I want it to be darker around the middle or here, maybe around here. I want it to be darker, like so. So that's the gradient that our particle will follow. So if we click on restart here, oops, doesn't. What did I change? Mhm. You change something. So, oh, okay, there. Yeah. So you could see it starts very red, and then as it rises, it becomes a little darker. Maybe I'll move black here a little more closer. There, it becomes black now over time. Uh, the thing I want to do also is to change the sort of visibility. Actually, I want to tint it a little yellow before it actually goes black. Like there. And then the top is the transparency, right? So we could change the alpha here. So alpha 0 is, well, completely transparent, and then 255 is completely opaque, right? So we could change this. Maybe it goes transparent after around this time. No, you could like mix and match, trial and error thing there. So as it rises, it becomes more transparent. Hmm. We'll put it here, tapos transparency niya around here. Okay. If you want to add more colors, you could just either click sa dalom, right? Or if you want to click more, have more like transparency thingies, then sa babaw ka naman siya maklik, right? That's how you would add knobs. Okay. So if you click on play, hmm. Yeah. But anyway, you can tweak this to match your own taste for the particles. Maybe I'll make it somehow like this. And then there. Yeah. That's good enough for me. But you may tweak it on your own. Next thing we'll do is size over lifetime. So size over lifetime, this is the size of the particles over the lifetime of the animation. So in this case, ang size niya, it looks like this. There's a curve for the particle system, and you can edit this curve, right? So in this case, it starts very big, so naka 4 siya ang size, and then over time, nag-descent siya. So it becomes smaller. You can change this where, for example, I want it to start very small. Oops. And then I want it to go a little bigger. Oops. Like this. And then it becomes small again around here. Something like this, maybe. So if I change the curve, right? So it starts small, and then it becomes bigger, and then it becomes smaller again. Maybe we'll do like, oops, no, not that. Okay. Now we'll change the curve, maybe around there. Yeah, that looks good. Maybe we could do something like this. Yeah, it becomes very small towards the end. So if you click the scene view, yeah, it becomes smaller like so. We will do it like this. Okay. It looks like this now. So you could edit those, no, size over time. So basically, it follows this sort of pattern where it becomes like it's small, it becomes a little bigger, like so, and then it again becomes very small after that. You could just edit this, the curve. Yeah, that looks good enough for me. Yeah, you can edit this however you want, size over lifetime. We also have here rotation over lifetime. So this is the rotation of the particle now over lifetime. So if it's spinning or not. And this is just angular velocity siya. So you can also change this. Constant, currently constant siya. Pwede mo siya butang curve, right? Pwede mo siya random between two constants, etc. But this one is constant siya. Oops. Constant siya na at a 30 degrees or 30 na angular velocity. We also have rotation, so similar man siya sa angular velocity, right? We won't touch those for now. We also have this renderer. So this is the one of the important parts. Particle effects is the renderer. This is actually the shape of our particles. So currently, our shape of our particles square siya, right? So we can change it here sa render mode. So pwede siya billboard. Billboard is I think though ano na siya, it's just a picture. And then mesh is, of course, well, mesh is sort of like the skeleton. So if it's a cube mesh, then the shape is also a cube. We'll stick with mesh for now, and then we could change the meshes here. Okay, so for example, pwede mo siya ma-change into something like a capsule. Or if capsule siya, and then you play it, there capsule man ang smoke niya, right? You could be wacky with this, pwede siya naka stone wall, for example, because we have this mesh given to us import. If we look at that there's a bunch of stone wall siya na mesh. Pero syempre, if there are a lot of polygons sa mesh mo, it also eats up a lot of processing power. So yeah, may mesh even here for the woman, right? So yeah, you could like pick and choose. There, it's a exploding woman. Yeah. What I want here is actually let's make it just a sphere. So circles lang siya, no, instead of cubes. There, something like that. A bit more modest, not exploding tree, boulder, exploding woman. We'll stick with spheres, like so. So wala na siyang explosion ta, right? If you're happy with the explosion you have, um, then you could just save this no as a prefab or just leave it be sa hierarchy. Okay. What we want to do next, if we're happy with our explosion, is we want to instantiate or play this whenever our character collides with something, right? What I want to do here is I want to put it as a child of our player. This is so that when our player goes around sa map, it also follows our player here, right? Our player character. Okay, so I'll make it a child, and then I will zero out our transform position no, para siya sa center. So if we look at the scene view, it's here. There. Para siya sa same base of our player. So when it explodes, it would look something like that. Okay. So whenever our player goes around, so if I click on player here, if our player goes here, or if it jumps up, and then if we play the explosion, so ma-originate man siya gapon sa player, right? Okay, sige. Okay, anyway, as a child of the player. And then what we'll do here is, where is it? Particle system. Okay, wait lang. Is there a play on a week? Start size, 3D start size, looping, pre-warm. Okay, we also have this play on awake. Ang play on awake is when you instantiate the object, the particle system, the object, it will play automatically. But what we want to do here is we want to play it whenever we bump into something. So, um, let's look at our scripts. Tapos for now, we'll put it sa player controller because this is where our collision detection was. Right? Here sa my on collision enter. Here. So we want to play animator here. Play SF particle effects. Particle effects. Effects. Okay. Sige. What I want to do here is I want a reference to the particle effects that we want to play. So I'll put a serialized field here, and then we'll set its inspector. Serialized field. This is private, not float. This one is particle effects. So we'll do particle system. There, particle system siya. That's the data type no, of our particle. And then I'll label this as depth particle fx like that. And then what we want to do is we'll play this whenever we collide with an obstacle, right? So we do depth particle effects dot play, as simple as that. Okay, so that's it for the code, right? Okay, so now if we play this, if we play this, when we bump into something or the tree, oops, Oh, I did not set it yet. Sorry. Sorry about that. I forgot to set it here. So we'll just drag it to here, the particle system, right from the hierarchy. So now when we bump into the log, we expect nga mag-play siya. There. Nag-play na siya. It exploded. Okay. So if you bump into something, may explode man siya. Right? So ang trail niya, it originates from the player, right? Because it's ang particle system is child siya of the player. So yeah, that's it. We just play it whenever we bump into the thing, into an obstacle, right? Let's look at the other particle system that we have. Particles, we have this, the dirt splatter na effects. Okay? I'll put it in the hierarchy for now. Uh, put it here. Okay, so ang dirt splatter, it looks like this. Can you see it here? It's just dirt splatter. We'll use this as sort of like a FX if our character is running on the ground, for the realism that it actually is running. We'll customize this for now. First, I'll just zero out everything sa property as a reset, as a transform. Okay, reset, um, reset there, and then we'll just change the orientation of this particle system. This one, naka-loop niya siya. It goes on forever. We could rotate this, right? We could rotate this para ang particle niya is going at the back of our player or dito siya ga-spew out sa likod ng player. So maybe we could do... Why is it gone? Start. Okay. So sa likod, there. And then maybe a little bit to the top para it's like the trail, no, of the player. So it looks like that. What I want to do here is also make it as a child of our player. Okay, child of our player. I'll just drag it to the player object. So whenever our player goes, the dirt just follows. Okay, it looks something like that. Kind of awkward though. When we jump, the particle system also follows, so it's still jumping with the dirt on. Not really the best. Okay, something like this. So not really ideal. What we want is whenever we're off the ground, ma-stop siya. Whenever we're on the ground, then ma-play siya, right? We'll also edit this a bit, ang particle system, because it looks like it's emitting too much, or the emission is too much. Our guy here is not running as fast na it would take up that much dirt. So we could customize this here. Siguro I'll just tweak the emissions. I'll lower it down to like around 10, right? Emissions over time. And then we'll just take a look at it again. Okay, that's much more reasonable, right? So what we want to do here is just turn it off when we are off the ground, okay? So we'll go to our script again. So this is everything is in player controller. You can separate these if you want. Maybe we'll do that later. So this one is dirt particle fx. So we want to play this whenever we're colliding with the ground. So maybe we'll do this here. So when we collide with the ground, we will play it. And then whenever we jump, then we'll just disable it, right? Okay, so this one, whenever we jump, we'll just disable this. Okay, stop. There. Okay, so going back. It is not defined. So we'll go back to player and then just drag it through the inspector. Now it looks like that. So it's when you're running, it's emitting. If you're off the ground, then it stops. There. When you collide with the ground, it goes again. Yeah. There. If you die, well, the other explosion is being played. So when you're off the ground, wala siya dirt. When you collide with the ground, it plays again. Okay. You can tweak that however you want, but I'm satisfied with that. So we'll move on to other effects, which is sound effects. So in Create with Code, we also have sound here. We have music and SFX. First thing we'll do is the BGM, background music. It's located here, sa music, and we'll listen to whatever was provided sa Create with Code. We have three here actually. So let's take a listen. So this is the first one. Second one sounds like this. Third one looks like this. Yeah. So those are our three options that we're given. No? Maybe I'll go with two. You can select whatever you want, right? We'll select two for now, and then we'll add it to our scene. But the thing here is we can't add the music no directly sa scene. We have to create an object with a component audio source. Then the audio source will actually play the music. Now, in the Create with Code tutorial, it will tell you to create the audio source as a component of our main camera, right? So main camera here, we want, and then Create with Code will tell you place the audio source here as well. I don't really like it, well, because it's the camera. Its responsibility is to depict the player. Now, it also has an audio listener here, meaning if this camera is active, all of the audio source, it will listen for the audio source. So if your audio source is, for example, at in the front of the camera, so ang spatial niya na sound is also in front. If you make it sa sides, it's also sa sides. So this is important if you're doing things like first-person shooter games in which sounds or surround sound is very important. So if you're wearing headphones, right, you could hear footsteps. Oh, there's footsteps at the back. I know there's something going on sa back, right? So it's this is important now positioning where you want to put your audio source in. Now, since this is background music, we don't really want it to like may spatial thing siya where it's coming from the back or is it coming from the front. We just want it to be coming from a constant na place. So what I want to do here is I'll create a background sound manager. So I'll just create an empty object. I'll call this sound manager or sound, well, we'll call this BGM source. Okay, so for just for the background music, I'll zero out. So I'll reset the transform. And what I'll do is I'll make this as a parent of our main camera. Para araman siya sa main camera. Wherever our main camera goes, it just follows, right? And then I'll zero out its transform. And then I'll add a component. Oh, there, it's already there. Audio source. Okay, so I'll add an audio source. So this is the player of our BGM. And then it's asking us for an audio clip. Okay, so this is the audio clip that we will be playing. Since we, what did we choose? Two? Or do you want something else? One, two, three? I'll just choose two para so we can move on. So I'll just drag the audio source to the audio clip to the audio clip na property here, and that will be played. Okay. There are things here. Loop means it will be looping, going on and on forever. Since this is just the background music, I'll click on loop. Play on awake. Here's the other thing. Play on awake. So once the game starts, right? Once this object is instantiated, it will automatically play ang audio source. So if this is unchecked, right, and if we play, wala siya, right? But if we check this, at the moment we play, instantiate CBGM source, there should be background music. There. Okay. You can also manipulate things here. There's priority. I think that's priority of what you could listen to. Volume, pitch, stereo pan, etc. What we could do here, I'll just lower the volume to around 0.5 so it's not that noisy. Later on sa code, pwede nyo na siya matweak. Okay? Ang volume here. That's why there are volume sliders sa games, right? This is similar to that. Okay. If I click on play, if I reduce the volume, if I change the volume, change man siya. But for now, we'll leave it at zero point 0.5 volume, and then we'll move on to sound effects, other sound effects. Okay, so for our other sound effects, we have a variety of choices here. We have three crash na sound effects, and we have three jump na sound effects. Okay, so let's listen to them. This is crash one. Again. So click play here. So that's crash one. Crash two sounds like this. Not very audible, right? Pero it's crunchy, man. This one, kind of Super Mario-ish sound. We'll go with this one since it's very crunchy, very audible, good for the explosion effects, right? So you will go with this for the explosion, and for the jump, we have a lot of choices here. So this is one. I don't know, can you hear that? So that's one jump. Jump two is this. Very 8-bit. Okay. The other one is just like a beep. I think we'll go with jump two, right? Very, it's. I think that's the best jump here. So what we want here is we'll attach this audio source, or the source for this is, well, it's the player doing the thing, right? If the player is jumping, then sa player man mag-originate ang sound. So we'll make another component. I know our player that has so many components already, but we'll add one more. Um, we'll add another audio source here. Now for this audio source, this will be different. We'll click off play on awake because we don't want to play the audio clip once we start the game, right? And we don't want an audio clip here. Um, the reason being here is we'll use this audio source just as a player. And then the audio clip will be the audio clip will be from the player, from the script siya kuhaon, right? So what we'll do, we'll create another script here. Pwede man siya sa player controller, but what I'll do here is I'll create another script just to make it a bit more modular. So I'll go to scripts. Where's my scripts folder? Here. I'll create a C sharp. I'll name this player SFX. Okay. And this one will just get a reference to our audio source. So private audio source there, audio source, something like that. We'll get the reference of our audio source since this is in the same object, no, or attached to the same game object. We'll just call get component audio source. So this is the same audio source with the audio source of player. Okay. And then what we'll do here is we'll create two serialized fields. We'll supply the values of this sa inspector later on. So private. This one, we want an audio clip. Okay, so we have two audio clips. One is for the jump SFX, and then the other one is for the crash or the death SFX. Crash SFX. Okay, I don't think we need update here. I'll have two methods here. I'll make them both public para ma-access ko siya sa other script. Public void play jump SFX. Okay. And then I'll have one for oops. Okay. One for play crash SFX. What we'll do here, we'll just play, right? The SFX. So jump SFX dot. No. We'll call the audio clip. No, the audio source. So we'll make our audio source as our sort of player for the audio clips, right? So audio source dot. This is play one shot. Okay. Ang play, I'll just explain the things here. Play here is just you're playing the audio clip that is assigned to the audio source already. We don't have an audio clip assigned to this audio source. Instead, we are playing different audio clips. What we want here is we'll play it once when it happens, right? So we'll use play one shot. And then we'll supply it with the audio clip. So this is play jump SFX, right? So we'll do jump SFX. And then the next parameter is the volume scale. For now, we'll hard code this 1F. I know, very magic number thing siya. But this is just the volume. Okay? Pwede naman na siya i-serialize audio. You know what? I'll just do it for good practice. Okay? So you don't be like me. Okay? Private float volume. Okay? I'll make it 1F para wala siya magic numbers. Okay? There. The other one is volume. So it's a scale from 0 to 1 na float, 1 being the maximum. So this one, if we call this method play jump SFX, ma-play lang si jump 2 that we selected, right? And then for the crash, well, it's just the same code, but this one is crash. Okay? Crash SFX. There you go. The next thing we'll do, we'll attach this sa Kai player. Right? Because I think I haven't added this script Kai player yet. Right, it's not yet here. So I'll add it as player SFX. Okay. For the audio clips, we'll just apply it with crash 2 for crash 1 for the crash sound effects, and then jump 2 for the jump SFX. Okay. So since we added this script already kay player, the next thing we'll do is get a reference sa player controller. So similar with animator and rigid body, this one is player SFX. That's the name of our script. So it's the same name here, or like data type or class name, right? So I'll name this player SFX as well. Okay, we'll get the reference of it here. Get component player SFX. There. Okay. Well then, oops. Sorry, that's not supposed to be like that. Okay. We'll then just play it whenever we jump, right? Whenever we jump. I know code looks messy right now. We could just clean it up later on. We'll do play, jump SFX. So wala na siya parameter. Simply place. And then for the death, we could put it in death tumble. We could put it here as well. I'll just put it here as well. We'll just clean up our code later on. This one is play crash SFX. Okay. That looks good enough. We'll check if it works. Object reference not set to an instance of an object. What is this? There is a null reference. Oh, what is that? I don't know what this is. There. Anyway, so when we jump, when we crash, play for crash. Jump, plays the jump SFX, and then when we crash SFX. Okay? Yeah. For now, that's it. Next meeting, we'll just clean up our code, and then we'll introduce some more things sa spawner, right? We could do like coroutines sa spawner instead of invoke repeating. Some of you have already dabbled on coroutines, no? But we'll do examples of it sa next meeting. Yeah. So next meeting, yeah, we'll meet again next meeting. We'll clean up our code a bit, and then after that, I'll give you time for your machine problems 3. Okay. So yeah, our lecture ends here.